What's up, Kansas City? We're back with another episode about another brewery. We're going to be telling you about Nimble Brewing. I'm Corey.
I'm Roxy.
Let's just get right into it.
Let's just dive right in.
So we're trying something a little different with this episode.
They're a fairly new brewery, so there's not like a ton to go off of. So we're not gonna be bringing you a whole ton of like super concrete info. We're gonna be giving you kind of our hot take on Nimble Brewing. Come on this journey with us.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure inebriation.
We're gonna get trademark claim, but that was beautiful.
Nah. They won't pick that up.
No.
Anyway, so we're talking about Nimble Brewing. They're located in the Crossroads of Kansas City, and they are pretty new.
Yeah, they're a family-owned and operated Nanobrewery, which, if you don't know what that means, it means a little brewery. Just a little guy.
Just a little bit.
And they only make small batches of beer at a time. So they actually very bravely opened literally like right in the heat of the shutdown from COVID. They opened in May of 2020. So they were getting ready to open. I think they were supposed to originally open in March. And then it was like, but then they were still able to open in May.
March was probably a very bad time to open a business.
Yeah. Well, I think
May only slightly better, but March was probably a really bad time.
Yeah. But yeah, so they've been open for almost a year now. And their name comes from the fact that they make small batches because making small batches allows them to be as nimble as possible.
I'm glad you told me that. I didn't know that. I just thought it was a cool name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make small batches. We had a Pseudo Interview. We went there today and to prepare for this episode. And we've been there a couple other times as well.
We do our homework, people.
Yeah.
We do this for you.
So
not because we just like to get drunk.
Yeah. We got to do our homework so that we can bring information to the masses.
Yes.
And being the masses that you are.
All four of you.
So, anyway, we were doing our research, and we went today. This is their first time open Thursdays.
Yep.
So we'll revisit this at the end, but they're used to only be open Fridays and Saturdays. They are now open Thursdays as well. And we were lucky enough to just be sitting right next to the founder.
So it's founded by Kevin and Jody Gittemeyer, I think is how you say their name. And they, along with their 6 kids, and I believe he said his nephew, are the ones that do everything for the business, basically, except they have now hired a Corey to be the bartender on Thursdays.
No relation.
Are you related to most Coreys?
All Coreys are related. It's like the Josh fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So...
But yeah, so we went and sat down and we just kind of wanted to do we've been there a couple times, but we wanted to do kind of our last little refresher for this episode. And it just so happens Kevin was like sitting right there and we ended up getting to chat with him. And it was so much fun. Like it was so interesting. And yeah,
so if you go there, which you totally should, one of the first things you might notice is that they actually have a full bar as well as their own brewed beer. And he had talked a little bit about toying with the idea of getting into also distilling and making their own spirits. But right now that's not on the table. But it offers a really unique experience because if you have that friend who's just not into beer for whatever reason, they still have drinks for you, which he had spoken about was really cool. Them being a nano brewery, also it lends itself to that because they make such small batches. They've actually ran out of beer quite a few times, and they still have mixed drinks and other things to offer the people that are there.
It was funny. The first time we went there, we went on a Friday. It was a Friday or a Saturday. And to be fair, we did go a little later in the evening. But yeah, they handed us a menu, and there was one beer left.
Yeah. And I don't remember what it was, because naturally we had some other drinks.
Yeah.
So
it was at the end of a night.
We were like, we have to come back because this wasn't good homework.
Yes. So we went back a couple weeks ago, and Oh my God, people. The pina colada beer. So the tough thing about telling you guys about like specific beers with this place is, like we said, they are very nimble. They make lots of different beers. They don't have the same beer list every week. It's new beers. It's a different beer menu every week. It's just kind of based on like what he makes that week. Because Kevin, I think, makes all the beers.
Yeah, and they super revolving menu. He made it sound like they do remake some popular ones. They kind of have a couple that he'll keep going back to. But yeah, like we could sit here and tell you about specific beers, but the odds of them having those beers by the time you got there are pretty low. They do focus primarily on sours and IPAs. I think they had one farmhouse ale the last time we went, not this time. And we got to ask him about it. And he said he makes what he likes. And he likes IPAs. And he wants to offer some hoppy beers. And then
he said that's what he kind of got started on brewing. And he's been brewing for, I think, 20, 25 years. And so that's kind of like what he's done a lot of. Yeah.
And then it kind of sounds like sours are a little, I don't want to say easier, less time consuming. Yes. Sours are a less time consuming beer because you can kind of just start with a base and then add your flavors later.
So you basically have like this is a sour beer base, and then you go, okay, well, we want this one to be like a strawberry sour, so you add strawberries to it, or like the pina colada. He was saying they went and got fresh pineapple and fresh coconut and added it to the sour mix. And Kevin, make more of the pina colada beer, please. That was so sad. There wasn't any of that today. Like, I want that on a beach and just have a vacation with that.
She really liked.
You can come if you want.
Oh yeah,
yeah. If you want,
if I can find a way there.
Yeah, if you can get a ride.
Okay.
Not from me.
Okay. So one of the great ones that I had while we were there today is called Fruity Pebbles, and I feel like Fruity Pebbles is a little misleading because it doesn't taste like Fruity Pebbles. To me, it tastes like cherry limeade.
Yeah, it was very like sour. Fruity, I would agree. It didn't taste like Fruity Pebbles, but I think it was like the spirit was there.
Yeah. It had cherry, lime, lemon, and...
awesomeness.
Orange?
I don't know.
I think it was another citrus. It was cherry and citrus, essentially.
I don't know. I got one sip of it, and then you drank the whole damn thing.
It was too good. I'm sorry. No, you're not. I'm not sorry.
No, he's not sorry.
So anyway, if you do get up there in the next few days, hopefully they'll still have some of that because you should totally have it. And it was amazing. But
either way, whenever you go, they'll have some cool stuff on the menu, and you just got to go. And it just means you got to go like every week to try all the new cool stuff that they have.
I mean, I have to keep going back and drinking. Darn. So
life is so hard.
While we were there, it was actually really cool getting to talk to him because you talk about stuff that's not even directly related to beer. And one thing we had never heard of, but he brought up was a thing called the Tavern Law or a tavern license. Essentially, we didn't know this, but in order for a place to sell beer it makes and spirits it doesn't, or maybe the vice versa as well.
Without selling food.
Without food is a specific license you have to have. And he was talking about trying to decide where to open up, and that actually influenced his decision because in Missouri, most places have a per capita limit on how many of those places can be opened. So if you ever notice there's not a whole lot of places that just serve drinks, that might be why.
Yeah, and especially like if there's some places where I kind of wondered, like, obviously being downtown, you're going to get more new places opening up. So I just always figured it was that. But he said in certain smaller towns, they won't give any new licenses because they're already at their limit. So no new places can open up like that. And it's kind of, I understand the logic of it because you don't want like a small town area to be overcome with a bunch of alcohol joints. I mean, I would dig it, but I get where the logic is. But it's interesting because in the Crossroads, that's not a thing. They actually don't have the per capita limit, so it's just kind of like free reign.
Certain districts in downtown Kansas City just don't have that rule, and I think now that we know that's a thing, it's obvious about the Crossroads because there's so many places down there that are like this, that have a really robust bar and make their own beer, but don't have food.
Yeah. So speaking of which, Nimble does not serve food, but they do, they say that you can bring in outside food. So if you get something at like Mission Taco or whatever, and you want to come bring it by, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then you just drink their really awesome beer.
Yep. Also, if they do run out of beer when you go there, do not fret. They sell plenty of other beers out of cans. He has a really good selection of canned beer in the fridge. And we got to talking a little bit, which was nice. It was kind of something we've talked about in the past where if somebody doesn't like anything except for Bud Light or their specific thing, he's like, I don't have that, but I have this other thing which is like that plus. So if you are a little nervous or scared and you're just like, I'm a Bud Light person, I'm a simple drink kind of person, do not fret. They can help you out there.
Yes. Oh, and as we mentioned with them having a full bar, some of the things they offer are they have several lifted spirits.
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about a couple episodes ago. So we were eyeballing their gin they had up there, and they had the vodka as well.
Yep. A little hometown collaboration.
Mm-hmm. So now that we've talked about the awesome things that you can consume from said awesome Nimble Brewing, Corey, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the space looks like?
So they've got a really nice tasting room. It's got a lot of art, which is really unique. That's something you pointed out. They have a lot of like prairie at dusk kind of stuff, or mountain at sunrise. Like it's like really harsh lines and really like bright colors. It's
minimalist landscapes.
It's really cool.
They're beautiful.
I think they're all for sale as well because they actually have little placards underneath each one where you can check them out.
I think so.
So yeah, they have their tasting room with their bar, and then in the back they have a little bit more of a lounge area. And I think he said you could rent it out, or am I making that up?
Yeah, I think on their website they have like event space thing.
Yeah.
So far as I've been able to tell, they aren't doing any kind of events or anything, but keep an eye on their Instagram, I think is where you probably get the most updates. So real quick side note, if you guys have been following us, you've been noticing that we've been a little out of touch recently. It's not because we don't love you. Life just happens sometimes. Job changes, moving, I'm finishing up school. Life is crazy.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, but it's all kind of coming back down. Hopefully we will be back on the schedule.
Yes.
And also, if you want more of us, since you've been missing us so much, we will be on The Hump podcast.
Yes.
Which you can find on all of the major podcasting areas: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher. I've never heard of that one, but
we're on Stitcher too.
Cool. Well, there you go.
Today we did a collaboration with them, so we met up on their podcast and talked a little bit about the beer scene, mostly about the brewery scene in Kansas City, but kind of our experience with doing this podcast and checking out all the cool drinkeries in Kansas City and some of the crazy things we've seen.
Yeah, it was awesome, and you should go check it out. It's a little more peeked into us if you're interested.
Yes. So yeah, go check that out. It was a really fun time hanging out with Brent and Chad. We really enjoyed talking about the drinkery scene with them and hearing some of the really cool beers they've tried too.
Yeah. So that is The Hump podcast.
The Hump with an exclamation point.
The Hump!
So, quick side note ended. So now let's just bring it back to Nimble Brewing.
Yeah. So Nimble, as we said earlier, is open 3 days a week: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursdays 5 to 9, Fridays 4 to 11, and Saturdays 2 to 11. So get on down to the Crossroads and get yourself some good beer.
And tell them Drink KC sent you and confuse them.
And watch as they don't know who that is, unless Kevin specifically listens to this and then goes, oh, those idiots who kept asking me questions.
Oh, yeah.
Which might happen that way.
It could happen.
Might not.
I imagine you probably run into a lot of idiots owning a bar.
Yeah. I imagine we're those idiots most of the time.
Oh, we definitely are. Yeah, we definitely are.
But before these idiots keep rambling,
we are
your amateur alcohol aficionados.
I'm Roxy.
I'm Corey.
And whatever you're drinking, make sure you drink KC.
See you next time.
Hey Kansas City drinkers. Want to see pictures of all the coolest drinkeries in town or get previews of upcoming episodes? Then make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And if you need or just prefer captions, check out our subtitled episodes available on YouTube. It's always more fun to drink KC when we all do it together. Cheers!